Some of you may not know this peach right here, but I bet you can guess which side of the aisle she's on. Meet Rosa DeLauro, an 18-term congresswoman, I think, from Connecticut, and walking proof that Halloween wigs are now acceptable on the House floor. DeLauro tries to grill a cabinet official over budget documents and government transparency, but ends up giving off more of angry PTA mom with a mic than serious oversight. And if you thought the purple hair was loud, wait till you hear what she has to say. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Hit like, subscribe, and let's dive in.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chairman. My apologies. There are a lot of appropriations, markups, and hearings today, so I apologize for being late. And with that, I would like to ask unanimous consent to put my opening remarks in the record, if I can. Thank you. And good morning to you all. It's good afternoon now, Mr. Secretary. Let me just follow up on something that my colleague, Mr. Mervan, was asking about, and that was the International Trade Administration, which helps to increase our exports of American products and services, protects American producers against trade cheating by China and others. I think it's important to note to my colleague, Mr. Mervan, that there has been almost a 30% cut to the ITA, $183 million. That's for below what was proposed for 2025. So it was going to cost American jobs, decimates ITA's U.S. commercial service, operates out of U.S. export assistance centers and U.S. embassies abroad, works to maintain and increase the exports of U.S. products and services. So the agency, which is meant to protect, if you will, our exporters, et cetera, and is now being decimated. I think one has to be look at what has been cut. There's the MEP program that I believe has been eliminated. One needs to go carefully through each of these areas and get a sense of, in fact, what is being cut back. And, you know, facts are funny. You got to deal with the details and with the facts. You just can't speak about it and make general statements. And when you cut back on agencies and the way that you have and slash and burn, if you will, then we're not going to get to where we want to go. I want to focus a second on two quick areas. One is transparency in government, because it's critical. Americans need to see where their tax dollars are going. And since 2022, we've had in place, I say that and maybe self-serving, I worked hard on this issue, and we got bipartisan, bicameral agreement to make sure that the executive branch, and I made sure that was with a Democratic administration, they are legally required to publicly post budget documents. That is how and when, how and where taxpayers' dollars are being spent. They're called apportionments. Put that aside. It's about saying how the money is going to be spent, and that is online. Now, this information is legally required. It's binding on a federal agency. The Office of Management Budget uses the information to tell agencies how and when they can spend the funds that Congress has appropriated. Beginning in March, OMB stopped posting these documents. This is illegal. And it's a slap in the face to the principle of transparency, accountability in government spending, which this administration claims to champion. Mr. Secretary, I'm going to ask for your commitment to once again making the amount-specific budget documents, apportionments, how and where U.S. tax dollars are being spent by the Department of Commerce and its bureaus publicly accessible. Will you commit to doing that?
It's my understanding that my department is following the CR with precision, as is required.
No, you are inaccurate, because I'll get to spend plans. We do not have details on the spend plans, which the CR requires, and it hasn't happened. We have a lack of specificity on this is it's more than 5 weeks after the legal due date. We do not have a detailed spend plan as required by the law. Let me go back. Will you commit to getting online how and where that American taxpayers' dollars with regard to the Department of Commerce are being spent as is required by the law.
I will, of course, follow the law, but it is my understanding, as I've been advised, that we have filed precisely according to the CR's requirement.
I do not know who you got your advice from, but this is the Appropriations Committee. We're looking at every spend plan, and let me just tell you, the bare bones spend plan was 3 weeks late. Surely, in that time, you must have had time to put together a more detailed spend plan. This is false. The law sets out the timeline and the level of detail. This is what is happening is illegal and in contravention of what this committee does and it puts together. And if you can't make a commitment, I take that as no, you will not commit, so that the public has no idea of what any agency in this administration is, how they're spending the taxpayers' dollars and where those dollars are going. I yield back and wait for a second round. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your indulgence.
During that entire video, I just couldn't shake the feeling that she reminded me of someone. And then it hit me. 1970s Batgirl. Same flair, same drama, just with a government paycheck. Now, let's actually talk about what she said, because underneath the flair and the finger waggling is a perfect example of broken logic driving the spending cuts. Rosa DeLauro rants about cuts to the International Trade Administration like it's some sacred institution. But you got to ask yourself, what exactly has the Bureau of Bureaucracy done to justify $183 million in taxpayer cash? These people act like slashing any line item is an attack on America, but spoiler alert, it's not. Then she flips to transparency, claiming that this administration is failing to show how it's spending our money. And on that, she's not wrong. But where was this energy when Biden was lighting billions on fire for fake green energy projects and shipping cash overseas with zero accountability? This entire exchange is the literal definition of theater. She gets to pretend she's holding someone accountable while ignoring the fact that there's actual rot in the system, because she's part of it. We're $34 trillion in debt, and this is how they behave? Outraged over cuts, silent on waste, and obsessed with process over outcome. So while DeLauro is yelling about appointment and budget line items, Americans are wondering why egg costs $5 and why we're still sending cash to countries that hate us, and why no one in DC, like her, seems remotely interested in stopping the bleeding. And it's not about facts, it's about optics. Loud hair, check. Loud glasses, check. Loud talk, check, but no substance. Because here's the truth. These people don't want transparency. They want control. They want to flood the system with so many agencies and departments and acronyms that nobody knows where to look. So when the money disappears, there's no one to blame. And when someone does ask questions, they deflect, lecture, and pull the Batgirl routine and act like they're saving the world from evil budget cuts. DeLauro's been in Congress for over 3 decades. You'd think she'd have figured out how to balance a budget by now, or at least explain why we're $34 trillion underwater while our border was wide open under Biden and our cities are crumbling. But no, her biggest concern today is whether a bureaucratic line item got posted online fast enough. That's the kind of leadership that we're dealing with right now. Meanwhile, your grocery bill is through the roof. Your gas prices, although they're on their way down, they spike every time DC sneezes. And the same politicians responsible for all this show up to hearings and pretend that they're shocked, absolutely shocked, whenever anybody wants to cut the spending that's wrecking this country. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Like and share this video. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and we'll see you next time.